All right, thank you for joining us for this year's Captain Webinar for the 2020 PGA Junior League season. This is Anthony Vitale.
And this is Holly Champion.
We're really excited to get this season started. I just want to get together and answer a few questions that you might have and talk a little bit about what's coming up this season that might be different from years past. So a big part of today, PGA Junior League is highly customizable. You can do a lot of things that are unique to you. But today we're going to cover a lot of best practices, a lot of things that are part of the program. We want you to be able to take what is useful to you. Some of the things that might not apply to you or might not be as relevant to you or your facility, don't worry about them so much, but then really add what is specifically your own. This is a great Bruce Lee quote. PGA Junior League can be whatever you want it to be, as long as you and the other captains in your league, or if you have your own league, as long as you let the parents know what that plan is before the season starts, you can change anything you want with the program to make sure it fits what your customers are asking for.
So here's kind of an overview with the timeline to kick us off. You can see captain registration is open, has been open for a little while. So please take advantage of that if you haven't already done so. You can find that on pgajuniorleague.com. Player registration will open Monday, February 3rd. So that will be a link on the website that everybody can find. National promotion will start on February 10th, which includes social media and an email directly to former players. So anyone who was registered on your team previously will receive that direct communication on February 10th to prompt them to try to register. So make sure if you haven't done your captain registration yet that you try to get it done before all of the communication goes out. So when parents or kids are trying to find your team, they can find it on the website and in the search tool. Regular season this year, same dates. It can start as early as April. Most of our captains and leagues start playing in June and needs to end by July 31st. That's when regular season matches and scores need to be posted. And then if you're ordering team kits throughout this whole process, if you're in May, make sure that you're leaving at least 20 days prior to when you need them. If you're earlier than that and you've got your team already rostered and ready to go, it'll be a little bit less waiting time than that. But if you wait until May to get everything in, you need to plan on at least 20 days. August will be our postseason. We're at the Pinery Country Club again this year in Parker. The Saturday will be our qualifier, which will be a big day. All the teams that would like to participate in postseason can come out, try to shoot their best score on Saturday. And then the Sunday matches in the morning and in the afternoon will be our semifinals, and then finals and consolation in the afternoon. You can put these dates on your calendar and for your team, August 22nd and 23rd, which is Saturday, Sunday at the Pinery Country Club. And we'll be running that event similar to last year.
So one of the big resources we've put together, we launched it last year, called the Captain Resource Center. This is accessible on the PGA Junior League website under the Captains tab. Any current or former captain should have access to this page. It has a wealth of knowledge, basically most of the questions that people have been asking. We wanted to put in one place where it's easy for you to find. So literally everything you need to do to run your PGA Junior League team can be found, or that process can be started on the Captain Resource Center. We reorganized it a little bit this year. There's been more and more good content, more and more captain best practices that were put into there. So you can see that we've split it up into some sections from planning your season, fall specifics items, postseason specific items. But regardless, at the top of that page in the key resources area, you'll always find the most relevant items for that period in time. So chances are, if you're going to the website to look for something, we will rotate through what's in the key resources based on what's important. So right now, there'll be a lot of preseason registration type stuff. In a couple of weeks here, the order team kits form will be up on the top. Towards the end of the season, you'll see the All-Star roster button up there, so you can submit your team names. This will always be changing. But we encourage you to go through the Captain Resource Center. Not all of it's going to apply to you and your programs, but hopefully it makes you think about what you're doing. It makes you think about how you could improve that experience for your parents and players. It gets you questioning some things. If you have some questions, always feel free to call me or Holly. We're happy to answer anything you have. But if you see something on there that intrigues you, reach out. We'd be happy to walk you through it. I also want to talk about the scholarship program. We're at our 3rd year of the scholarship program. It was a 3-year program. Year 1 went pretty well. It was a slow start. Year 2, we exceeded all budgeting expectations, really blew it out of the water with the number of scholarships that are being used. And these are golf professionals going into the community, finding kids that could benefit from playing PGA Junior League, and finances was a reason why they might not, and they engage them using this scholarship. A couple notes on the scholarship. There are the 2 main parts. There's the military scholarship, essentially a military discount, which is a $75 discount code that any children from a military family that's active duty, reserves, retired, National Guard, all of those qualify. $75 discount, no brainer. Anybody who's running a program should engage that portion of the scholarship if you have people that apply, because that $75 basically waives the PGA Reach fee for the team kits and support anyway. The other half of that scholarship is financial need based. Any student or any player who is in a financial need situation, that's free or reduced school lunch is the means for that. It's a simple conversation you may have with the player. If someone says, hey, you know what, we'd like to play, but it's too expensive, you can let them know about the opportunities through our financial need-based scholarship. You ask them if you're on free or reduced school lunch. They automatically qualify. You just get that name, submit it to through the Captain Resource Center on the scholarship application, and we'll get you a discount code. That is a full ride scholarship, wipes out the entire entry fee for your program, regardless of cost. You're not allowed to charge over that. It's designed to be full ride, and you will get a $100 coaching fee for every scholarship player you identify for the program. Might be a little less than you make on a full registration fee paying player of your team, but really you're reaching out in the community and finding people that really need it. The scholarship form is 100% digital this year. It's on the Captain Resource Center, and part of that, really hoping we get a little bit more engagement through the extenuating circumstances scholarship. It's another way for someone to get that full ride scholarship to your program. If maybe they're not on free or reduced school lunch, maybe there's some a loss of employment by the family that just happened right before the season, or there's some unexpected medical bills for that family. You no longer have to ask all those questions and fill out the form for the parents. You can start that form, an application on the PGA Junior League website and the Captain Resource Center, pass off that application after you've started it and put in your program information, and have that family complete the rest of it and submit those personal questions directly to PGA Reach, and they will approve pretty much all of them. I've yet to hear of somebody who filled out and took the time to answer those sensitive questions and haven't been approved for that scholarship. So hopefully that you found some really good engagement with that. Colorado has done really well in the past with this scholarship, and we hope to continue to do well going into the future. It will be first come, first serve this year. We're at the 3rd year of our scholarship program. First come, first serve. You will need names for all participants that are requesting a scholarship. We fully anticipate being able to cover the regular season. We were able to cover the fall season the past 2 years, but we're not confident that we're going to have enough scholarships left to do that. So definitely do it early and get those applications in as soon as you can.
So this is kind of an overview graphic of what the team kits are going to look like this year. We're updating the jerseys, so still the same orange and blue color scheme, but they're going to have kind of a camouflage pattern to them. And in addition, you'll see the game guide that's listed there as well. This is an activity book geared for younger, more beginner players, and it just kind of gets them into the game with a few, things like crossword puzzles and different items to really get them engaged. So you'll still see the same, the bag tag has been updated a little bit, the hat's been updated, things like that, but still a relatively similar team kit from the previous season.
The parent feedback. Parent feedback was something that we conduct at the end of every season, as well as some of the requests that come through on the chat bubble on the website. So you may have seen it before. You'll see Marshall QC, who works at the headquarters office. You'll see him pop up on there and ask if you have any questions. That'll happen for the parents too. So between the stuff that comes through on that Q&A button, live chat, and some of the postseason feedback we collect, parents are really asking for 3 main things, and one of them is schedules. This is much easier for those of you who run your own league or who have been competing in the same leagues for the last couple of years. You can build that schedule. When those parents go to register, they're looking at spending $200, $200, $250, $300, and they want to know how many of those activities they're going to be able to participate in. They're going to make that determination. If they know the dates of all those activities, they know which ones they might have to miss, and then they'll be able to easily decide, you know what, it's still worth it for us to play, even though we're going to have to miss a few. But if they're having to wait for schedules, sometimes that makes them wait to sign up, and that just makes it challenging for everybody. So when you can, work with your fellow golf professionals to determine a schedule, or if you have your own in-house league, make sure you publish that schedule as early as you can.
Another piece of feedback that we continually hear from parents, and we also hear it on the Junior Golf Alliance side, is more frequent communications. I say early and often. If you can get ahead of your schedule or ahead of your practices or even ahead of something that has come down the pipe very unexpectedly, whether that's weather, whether a team needs to reschedule something, the quicker that you can get out in front of that, the more appreciative parents are going to be of that communication. Even if you don't have anything to say during part of the season, a really good idea that we've seen is a newsletter. You know, shoot your families an email each week that just says, hey, loved practicing. One of the things that you can do to follow up on practice is X, Y, and Z, or here are upcoming match schedules. Remember to RSVP. You know, whatever that content may be that's relevant for your facility, relevant for your teams, get it out in front of the parents quickly and often. They're going to vastly appreciate that, and that's going to head off any kind of headache that those parents would be asking you for in the future. And kind of finally, the most really prominent piece of feedback that we get is the practice and instruction time. You know, try to schedule your practices and use your time and their time wisely. Get them on the golf course. Golf course time seems to be one of the most valuable things that you can add to a practice, add to your team. That could be just getting out and playing one hole and instructing the entire time throughout that hole. You know, we have a number of teams that structure into their fee a private 30-minute lesson with each player. Whether they schedule that with you or not, that's a huge value add for them, because that means that they are getting one-on-one 30 minutes of your undivided time. And as a PGA professional instructor, that is incredibly valuable to the parents and to the kids. So that may not be a mass practice environment, but that still adds a lot of credibility and a lot of instructional time in the minds of the parents when they do pay that fee.
So we're recording this on Wednesday. Tomorrow, Thursday, you're going to see the website go down for a brief moment of time in the middle of the day. We're about ready to overhaul the way the search function works on the website when parents start searching for teams, as well as an overall just a theme and paint job, if you will, to the website to freshen it up a little bit. But the big change is going to be the way the search works. And for those of you who've registered as captains already, you'll notice some of the questions were structured a little differently this year. And that's really so that when parents go on and they punch in a zip code, they're going to come up with a list of facilities, all of which are going to charge a wide range of prices based on what they offer. And we've made it a little bit easier for them to see what the differences of those programs are. So one of the areas you'll see is the Meet the Coaching Staff section. You'll get a chance to describe who you are, who your coaches are. I've seen a lot of programs take a time to put their value statement in there for why they do PGA Junior League. This is a fun with friends program, or we're highly focused on developing future competitive golfers. You name it, I've seen all kinds of really good information that tells somebody who you are and what kind of program you're running. The next section that they can expand when they're going through the search is the what's included. There's 4 stock options in there of the most common things we see people add as part of PGA Junior League. But there's also, if you check the other box, you'll get 6 additional options where you have a list and you can list out some of the things that you want to add to your program, such as we're going to have 6 practices and the first one starts on May 15th. Or everybody on the team gets a dozen custom golf balls with our logo on it. You name it, if you're adding it and it brings value to your program, you should 100% list it on the facility, on your captain registration, so it'll show up in the facility search. And the last section that they can expand is part of the schedule. For those of you who know the schedule, this will be really valuable to you because you can put that start month. You can actually go into the additional scheduling options, which is an open field, and let the parents know when your parent meeting is, when your first practice is, when your first game is. And you can really communicate. Parents, like we mentioned, parents are looking for more information when they're about ready to make that purchase, and this will really help. The other thing you'll see is that if a program is full or the registration close date has passed for a program, the registration button will disappear. We saw so many cases last year where parents were trying to register and they got halfway through before they realized the program was full already. This will prevent that from happening, and it'll give them the option to get in contact with you in case they think that they should be on the team and they may have missed something.
So PGA.Coach, we wanted to bring this app and this program to your attention because we believe it really makes a good connection between the PGA.Coach platform and PGA Junior League. So PGA.Coach is a training program that is free to PGA professionals and LPGA professionals that takes them through what's called the American Development Model. That is, in a nutshell, how to structure activity based on a child's age and based on their experience level. So you could have a very, very advanced 8 or 9-year-old, or you can have a very beginner 14-year-old. This teaches you how to run a program for both kinds of clients and also provides you different structured lesson plans and activity plans for you to implement. So for example, if you are running a practice for your team on a Tuesday afternoon and you need a activity idea, if you've taken PGA.Coach, you simply log into your account and download a lesson plan that has instructions, a supply list, a time frame for how long it takes to set up, and how long the activity will take for your kids and your players to participate. So it really takes the guesswork out of creating, new, fun, adventurous aspects of your practice and of your instruction. The training takes about 3 to 3.5 hours. You run through a series of very simple videos and take a quiz after each. You can start it and stop it at any time, but it takes you through all of the American Development Model levels and really is a very educational process. At the end of the program, you also get the added benefit of a video that is geared towards parents. So you can send your parents a video about the ADM model that says, this is why your child or your athlete is going to see games that may not necessarily pertain to golf specifically. If you take 20 minutes or 30 minutes of a practice and all of the kids play kickball, that's actually developing their athletic skills over their golf skills, but that is scientifically proven what they need at their age range and at their experience level to develop the athlete before the golfer. So it's really interesting stuff. Anthony and I have both taken it and have been certified in it. I would highly encourage you to look into it. I think it's a huge value add for your program. It takes the guesswork out of really running any of those kind of practices and getting those programs. And you can also use it to do different student evaluations. If you have someone that you've never worked with before, take them through an evaluation through the ADM process, and it tells you exactly where they fit in which level of instruction and cognitive ability that they fall in. So take a look at it. If you have any questions on it, feel free to reach out, but a really great program and amazingly paired with PGA Junior League.
So one of the things we get questions on all the time is how much should we charge? And on average, Colorado is doing really well compared to the rest of the country as far as our average program price. But for a long time, I don't think golf professionals charged enough for the professional and highly trained instruction that you are giving. So you'll see this chart here. This is a study done by the Aspen Institute and Utah State University. They track the cost of youth sports across all different sports. You can see ice hockey there at the top of the list. A lot of expensive registration for ice time. The equipment is fairly expensive. Travel is expensive. By no means do I think golf needs to live up to its reputation of being a really expensive sport, but you can see on this list next to the arrow that golf is kind of just a little bit above the middle of this list. And other than tennis, golf and tennis might be the only two on this list that really have coaches who've gone through professional training. So you are leading programs as a trained professional on how to lead kids, especially if you're a PGA.Coach certified coach. That brings a lot of value. So don't undervalue what you bring to the table here. As you're pricing out your program, we're happy to walk through some of the best practices around this, but parents are really willing to pay top dollar for quality programming. If their kids come home and they can't wait to go back to the golf course, or if they're asking to go practice, or they want to go out and make sure that they're contributing more shots the next time they participate in a PGA Junior League game, that's going to be a really good thing for the parents. It makes it really easy for them to pay top dollar for it. So definitely, as you're pricing your program, we try to aim for $20 to $25 per experience. So price out how many practices, how many games you have. If you adding a lot of extra little things in there, definitely more of the $25 per experience range. But yeah, try to price out your program appropriately. And if you like any help doing that, please let us know.
And we'll kind of wrap up the video here, giving a quick shout out to Kyle Vasca. At the Links Golf Course, they had the 16th largest program in the country with 119 registered participants. Now that includes a very robust fall league that Kyle started and just had an incredible amount of traffic towards. So really great job, Kyle, and the Links Golf Course.
Perfect. So yeah, like Holly said, we're going to wrap up, but that doesn't mean it's time to stop thinking about PGA Junior League. It's time to start. We're getting ready to launch that season. Player registration opening is right around the corner, and both Holly and I are available really anytime you need to chat about PGA Junior League. And we would really love to help answer some of your questions and help you build out quality programming that's going to help drive value to you and to the facilities you work with.
Yep. Call anytime, email anytime, text works as well. We'd really love to help you, whether it's getting started, making your program get better than it was last year, and getting set up differently than you have been in the past. So always contact us.
Have a great day.
Thank you.